matters what shape they're in. Home health or politics, conspiracy theories or cement bricks, intelligent discussions on the issues of the day. Tell them not to call unless they got something to say.
Hello, Uncle Henry.
Man, you're really cool.
Hello, Uncle Henry.
You ain't nobody's fool.
Hello, Uncle
You live by the golden rule. When there's a fiery discussion, you supply the fuel.
Come ride a little train going down the track at the junction. Woo, woo! Very cool junction. There's old Uncle Joe moving kind of slow at the junction. Woo, woo! Very cool junction. I will return.
Message deleted. Press.
We have a crash on St. Stephen's Road at Sand Ridge Road. We also have a crash with injury and road blockage North W Street at West Michigan Avenue. Slow at the Cochrane Bridge east on Highway 90 from 165 to I-10. It's a 17-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Red Pilled America.
This week on Red Pilled America.
I definitely believe the moon landing was faked.
Conspiracy theories are everywhere. Why are they spreading? To find the answer, we tell the story of the man that made and lost a fortune on them, Alex Jones. Listen to Red Pilled America on the iHeartRadio app. That's Red Pilled America.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
Now, here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, GRAND. That's GRAND. Enter it now at NewsRadio710.com. Weekday afternoons from 5 till 7.
Listen up. Turn your radio on, listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on, listen to the Uncle Henry Show. Turn the radio on, it's all the news you need to know. Turn your radio on, it's the Uncle Henry Show. The voice of the Gulf Coast, the Uncle Henry Show, where the news comes forth unedited and is the voice of the people. Turn your radio on, listen to the music in the air.
This is the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Thank you very much. I appreciate very much you listening to the Uncle Henry Show. I do. The Uncle Henry Show is still an important part of my financial plan. And once again, here we are together, just me and you, just the two of us here. Trying to figure out what is going on. What is going on? What has gotten into people? If there's something you want to tell me, or if you'd like to just ignore me and talk to the listener, telephone number if you'd like to call the show, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723 to call the Uncle Henry Show on this day after the primary election voting in Alabama yesterday. Really lots of questions answered and still things that have yet to be answered. After all of the voting yesterday, we found some things out. We found out, for example, that Alabama Republicans really do like Coach. I guess he's Senator Coach Tuberville. They like him enough that it made me feel good when I saw the vote totals. It confirmed that I made the right decision months ago. And the right decision I made months ago was not to even learn the names of the people running against him. Yes, I thought, well, I've got limited amount of space up in my head these days as I continue to age into the future. I've got to be careful what I put in my head and what's up in there, because I just want to make sure I've got room for what I need up in there. Because I want to remember how to tie my shoes and stuff like that, in case I need to, in case there's not a Velcro type of shoe. So I thought, well, I'm not gonna learn these names of these people that are running, because what chance do they have? And I was right. And the same with many of these other races. There were 5 and 6 people running for some of these offices. I've learned I don't need to learn all these names, because they're not going to make it. But people really like Tuberville. They voted for him in great big numbers. Also, we saw last night in the vote totals that Mobile County voters really like Sheriff Birch. Paul Birch defeating Paul Prine, the former police chief. It was quite a colossal victory. I don't remember the exact percentages, but it was big. It was a very big victory. Here is a little bit of Sheriff Birch at his victory gathering.
What do you want to send out to your supporters?
I cannot thank the supporters enough. I always want to say, and I said this last time, for those who did not vote for me, I want to earn your vote. So you vote for me next time. If we're doing something that you're not happy with, get in touch with us. We'll fix it. But I can't thank my supporters enough.
All right. So if you don't like something he's doing, and there were some votes for Paul Prine, he said that you can get in touch with him and tell him what you don't like, and he'll work on it. He'll fix it. More on that, but I'll get to more on that, but I do have a living caller. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Uncle Henry.
Bert, you are live on the radio.
First of all, just briefly on the election,
yes.
I think only one of the candidates that I voted for actually won. Caroline Dobson, I think her last name is.
Okay.
The other ones were like under 10% of the vote, but that's the way it goes.
That happens a lot here.
Uncle Henry, some months ago, I called about the proposed pipeline across Big Creek Lake. And I said, if that happens, one terrorist with one small bomb could permanently ruin the water supply for the city. Well, I don't know if we ever got the pipeline, but we sure got the bomb.
Yeah, we did. And so far, and I may have missed it, but we've gotten about 0 details on this whole bomb thing, other than there was a bomb. And that's about all we know.
It was planted at a dam. It seems like
right?
It was intended to cause a flood or something. Glad they caught it before it detonated.
Oh, me too. Glad they caught it. Yeah. It is one of those things that most of us would never imagine somebody would do, except you did. You imagined that somebody would do something like that out there, that lake.
Yeah. It just blew my mind that they were even considering putting a pipeline across the lake. And for that reason, natural disaster could happen. This area is not immune to earthquakes. I don't know if you know this, Uncle Henry, but Mobile Bay was created by an earthquake that happened many thousands of years ago.
I did not know that.
Yeah, if there was an earthquake, there goes the pipeline, there goes the lake, there goes our water supply. Or, like I said, a small bomb. The way terrorists operate these days, I wouldn't put anything like that past them. And it would be very easy to do. That's why I thought they were limiting access to the lake, was because of that. Now, I don't really know And I'd like for you to find out one way or the other, Henry, if that pipeline was ever built.
All right. Well, I'll ask the few folks that I can, and I'm also, now that you've reminded me, I'm going to ask around about this bomb thing, because you'd think we'd hear a lot more details about this bomb.
They may be keeping mum about it to stop a panic from happening. That's the way they do things, especially after a UAP is sighted. You know what I mean? That's what they call UFOs these days.
Yeah. Well, by the way, if anybody out there is preventing a panic, thank you. I don't enjoy panics.
Uncle Henry, one last thing. My band is going to be playing this Sunday at the Blues Tavern at a benefit for one of my drummer's coworkers that lost everything in a house fire.
Oh, what time are you going on?
The band started at noon. I think we're the second or third band, and there's no cover charge. Blues Tavern on Halls Mill Road.
Bert, thank you so much for letting me know about that, and I'll be sure to repeat that before the weekend.
Thank you for taking my call, Henry.
Thank you for listening to the show and calling the show, Bert. Bert, you can see Bert perform this Sunday. You heard him say it'll be after 12 noon, early in the afternoon at the Blues Tavern on Halls Mill Road. Bert and his band.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
And we have congestion developing on Highway 59. From I-10 to Gulf Shores, it's a 50-minute drive time. Very slow on the Bayway east on I-10. From I-65 to the Eastern Shore, and on an extra 15 minutes of drive time. We also have slowing at the Cochrane Bridge east on Highway 90 from 165 to I-10. It's a 15-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Bakke.
This report is sponsored by Taking a Walk Podcast.
I'm Buzz.
YouTube viewers, got a tiny number of YouTube viewers watching, and I appreciate it very much. Hello to Bamba Big Man, Russell Breeding. Oh, Spencer Smith of Skyline Soul, the very aggressive drummer, very powerful drummer. The Love Freak 69, thank you for looking in. I appreciate that very much. 69-year-old Chris of West Loxley. Yes, Skyline Soul at 5 p.m. Sunday at Blues Tavern on Halls Mill Road. Not a bad little venue. Not a bad little venue. Norman Richardson, still celebrating his birthday this week. KP of shirtbutter.com. KP, you found a Glenn Beck video about the Big Creek Lake bomb. I understand that sometimes it can be jarring, the emotion of Glenn Beck. That's why I advise you listen to it only on in the background. Just have it on in the background and let it, the neocon stuff can get into your head subconsciously. It's better for your digestion. Let's see. Oh, Bert said Mobile Bay was created by an earthquake. So if we get another earthquake, could we get another bay? Because a lot of people would love to have oceanfront property, or, they'd like to live on the water, but they can't afford it. But if we get a new bay, that would mean there would be new waterfront property. Might be good for some folks. Excalibur 1-4, hello to you. JD, hello to you. Oh, JD, asking Doug Jones if he thinks he really has a chance. You know, with this, he's crafty. As 69-year-old Chris has commented, he's got all them years of lawyering experience. He's crafty, and we've got this whole residency thing with Tommy Tuberville. So Alabama Republicans need to be very careful with this whole Tommy Tuberville residency thing that Lagniappe has been writing about. Because weird things happen in Alabama statewide elections, really weird things. You may remember Judge Roy Moore versus Doug Jones. Weird things can happen. All right, let's see. Oh, I've got to talk on the radio again. I guess, all right, well, might as well get to it.
It's Clint Black on Taking a Walk on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
This is the Uncle Henry Show. News headlines coming up in 10 minutes. If you'd like to call the show, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Now, in the last segment of the show, we talked a little bit about the election results from the primary, and Bert called in and talked about a variety of interesting things. Before Bert called in, I was talking about how, looking at the primary results, it looks like Republican voters in Mobile County really like Sheriff Paul Burch. They really liked him. Like him enough to give him a very gigantic victory over Paul Prine, the former police chief. Now, I got this voicemail. This came in last night.
Henry, this here's different. Henry, I got one question. What is Prine going to run for next? Anyway, Henry, you have a good day.
All right. Thank you very much, Buford. So what is Paul Prine going to run for next? Fox 10 had Brendan Kirby at the Paul Prine gathering last night, and they had this. This is a brief exchange about the future of Paul Prine with the frequently disheveled reporter Brendan Kirby.
Chief, what is next for you after this?
Well, I don't know. We'll sit back and regroup. There's a big money power base in the city of Mobile specifically and in the county. And there's no doubt, that power base got behind the incumbent. But I'm not quite sure what we're going to do. I'm not going to go away, and this is not the last time you've seen Paul Prine.
And, this obviously didn't go the way you wanted it to. Right. It's always hard to take on an incumbent, especially one that, has a lot of support from the money and the people in office. What do you think made the difference in this race?
Well, I think low voter turnout. We ain't got the final numbers yet. You and I talked earlier today, and I told you that typically and statistically, low voter turnout typically will always favor the incumbent. Looks like that's going to be the case tonight, but we certainly wish Paul Burch all the best. And, now it's time for the county to rally behind him and hold him accountable, but hold all of our leaders accountable to do the right thing.
All right, so that was Paul Prine last night. Now, the last time he was in here last week, we did an interview, ran the interview this past Friday, and after the interview was over, now he may have been joking around with me. He may have been joking around. I don't know him well enough to know if he's joking around with me or not. But he said something to me about if things didn't work out, in the primary that he may get a job at Home Depot. This is what he told me, and he may have been joking around. He said that he may get a job at Home Depot, and he hoped that there was an employee discount, and he said he would like to work for Home Depot for a couple of years and use the employee discount to purchase as many beautiful tools, just fill his garage with magnificent tools, and then, after working for Home Depot for a couple of years, just finally retire and enjoy life and enjoy his tools. But now he may have been joking, but that's what he said to me last week when he was on the Uncle Henry Show and was leaving the building. But he also, don't forget, he is still involved, Mr. Prine is still involved in a lawsuit that he has filed against certain individuals that resulted, this lawsuit came after his losing his job with the city of Mobile. He has said that he has filed that lawsuit to try and, because he said they had slandered his name. They had, and I don't know if it's libel or slander or what the actual thing is, but they had smeared his good name, and he wanted to fight for his reputation back. And I thought about that lawsuit because I thought, well, if he won the primary or came really close, that would be an indication that his name had not been harmed that much. I mean, if you could have your name drugged through the mud and still win a primary, I guess not enough harm done to your name. But the election results yesterday were such that I'm sure this lawsuit will go forward, and we'll just have to see where it ends up, how long it'll be drug out, and will it ever get in front of a jury. But Paul Prine, not sure. He said we won't hear the last of him. But he will end up in the news one way or the other with this lawsuit as it continues. Now, also, he mentioned low voter turnout. I don't have all the numbers in front of me, but I saw this brief item from WAFF up in Huntsville today about our statewide voting. Apparently, all of this congressional redistricting, redrawing the maps for Congress, spurred a lot of Democrats voted in the primary in Alabama yesterday in some of the biggest numbers they'd seen in many, many years.
Its elections had one eye-opening data point. More than 364,000 people voted for one of the Democratic candidates for governor. That is the most votes for the party in a primary in 20 years.
Yeah, hey, how about that? It's been over 20 years since they've had that many Democrats go out and participate in a primary. And I say, I'm guessing here, of course, that it's about the it's people being fired up because of redrawing the maps for Congress, because it's hard to imagine the voter base getting fired up about Doug Jones. No offense to Doug Jones, but getting fired up about Doug Jones or any of the other, these state races in Alabama, very difficult to win a statewide race if you're a Democrat. Very difficult. I can't remember the last, it's been a while since it's happened. That's why a lot of people that believe in Democrat policies and stuff run as Republicans and get elected that way. And that's why sometimes I wonder why the legislature's acting like they are. Well, it's because some people are in the Republican Party only because that's the only way to get in there. But big turnout among the Democrats, the biggest, she said, in 20 years.
Its elections had one eye-opening data point. More than 364,000 people voted for one of the Democratic candidates for governor. That is the most votes for the party in a primary in 20 years. Here's a look at how last night's number compares.
And you can't see the numbers because radio don't have pictures yet.
Alabama primaries. Tuesday's vote total was still well short of the 493,000 cast for Republicans.
Yeah, so still, it's still, the Republicans still, more of them showed up, and it would be very, very, very difficult for a Democrat to win a statewide office. But the Democrats showed up, did some voting yesterday in that primary. Back with more Uncle Henry Show after the news break.
Time saver traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
You're traveling in Pensacola, got a crash with injury on North W Street at West Michigan Avenue, and the roadway is blocked. Also at the Cochrane Bridge, east on Highway 90 from 165 to I-10, it's a 12-minute drive. On Highway 31 from Highway 59 to Spanish Fort, it's a 16-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Ready to upgrade to the perfect sleep setup? Let Mattress Firm's sleep experts guide you to the perfect bed at the Memorial Day sale. Top brands, ideal comfort, score unbeatable deals on both. Mattress Firm. They make sleep easy.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
I'm Cameron Taylor with Fox 10 News. A Pensacola woman has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for a deadly hit and run that killed a Navy veteran on Sorrento Road. Investigators say Jessica Hendrickson hit 52-year-old Jeffrey Nichols from behind while he was riding his bike on the shoulder on June 10th of 2023, then drove off. Troopers later tracking down Hendrickson's car after it was towed to Alabama for repairs and say she ran away to Kentucky to avoid prosecution. A Robertsdale man's federal lawsuit over immigration enforcement is moving forward after a key ruling in Mobile.
Did you hear that a woman went on the lam to Kentucky? I guess there's mountains up that you could hide in a mountain, I guess.
Detained him twice last year during raids at construction sites in Foley and Fairhope, even though he was born in the U.S. and showed an Alabama driver's license, and he was stopped again this month. Government attorneys argued his claims are just...
Where would be good to go on the lam? If you were on the lam, where would be somewhere good to go? I'm thinking Thomasville. I'm on the outskirts of Thomasville.
Enforcement agency launching a unified boating safety initiative for national safe boat
I'm fond of Thomasville.
on the water and a coordinated awareness campaign. Officials say the big problems are boating under the influence, distracted operators, not wearing life jackets, and failing to file float plans. I'm Cameron Taylor with Fox 10 News on this iHeartRadio station.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. The Justice Department has indicted former Cuban President Raul Castro in connection to the 1996 murders of 4 Americans who were killed by Cuban fighter jets while flying civilian aircraft. The DOJ alleges the former leader had spies in Florida who provided intel on the Americans who were killed. Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier.
Raul Castro ordered those fighter jets to shoot down unarmed civilian aircraft. It was not an accident. It was intentional, premeditated, state-sanctioned murder.
Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel calling it a political maneuver. DHS Secretary Mark-Wayne Mullen speaking of the commencement ceremony for the U.S. Coast Guard Academy.
You're the 1%ers. You're the 1% that'll stand up and you defend our freedoms, you defend our Constitution.
America's listening to Fox News.
Well, I'm going to be back on the radio here in just a little over 2 minutes. Let me look at the YouTube. I'm reactivating the YouTube on my desktop computer to see if we still have a small number of people looking at the Uncle Henry Show. Yeah, a very small number. Pat Nelly. It's reassuring to see Pat Nelly there, or someone claiming to be him. Let's see. All right, what can I tell you about while waiting to go back on the radio? In the next segment of the show, there will be a lot of talking about spanking. before we get to the spank discussion, let's see, a man trying to fight high gas prices took a toy car out of someone's garbage, a pink Power Wheels Barbie Dream Camper, and modified it with a 2-gallon, 1-piston engine from a power washer, and he can drive around on the toy car. He wears a dirt bike helmet on his head. See, smart enough to refurbish the car, but not smart enough to know that this is still dumb to do it.
Offer free appraisals?
Yes, we do. It's one of the most enjoyable parts of the business, and we love meeting new people and going through coins and jewelry.
Call 251-725-1590 for Mobile Bay Coins.
It says the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM. You can also hear me on FM radio on 95 KSJ, playing today's hottest country, Monday through Friday between 10 and 2. 95 KSJ is helping Waterville, USA and Gulf Shores celebrate their 40th anniversary this year by doing 40 days of Waterville giveaways, and tomorrow I'll have your chance to win Waterville USA tickets at 11:15. Be listening tomorrow morning at 11:15 for your chance to win tickets to Waterville USA from 95 KSJ. This Saturday, Waterville USA is opening up. They'll be open daily for the summer starting this Saturday. Hello, caller.
Uncle Henry.
LD, the mad trucker, or retired mad trucker.
Well, kind of. Look, man, let me tell you something. Why did Lagniappe report, and a couple of news centers reported, that Doug Jones won a commanding lead of 78%? They don't even bother to tell you that the Republican will just wipe the floor with Doug Jones.
Well, they were talking about the commanding lead among the Democrats voting in the Democrat primary.
3 snakes, and you decide which one to vote for. That was my opinion, Uncle Henry. But listen, didn't Paul Birch or Prine said that he wanted to get a brand new helicopter?
Oh, that is Sheriff Birch.
Sheriff Birch, well, I commend him for that. And I was telling a friend that, and he said that he knew where a Chinook helicopter was. You know what a Chinook helicopter is?
It's one of those really big ones, right?
Yeah, it's got twin blades on it.
Yeah,
One engine in the front and back. I wish you would tell him, would you call him and let him know that that's probably what they're going to have to buy, because if your mother ever gets sick, that'll probably be the only thing that can pick her up.
You sick freak! How dare you attack? How dare you imply that my mother is so large that we would need to use a Chinook helicopter to airlift her to safety if she had an illness? That's sick. It is sick that you would do this. You know, my mother is still alive. She is semi-aware of her surroundings. Sometimes she knows what you're saying. And she's normal sized. She is normal sized. And I've had every kind of official come in here, an upstanding citizen, testify on this show that she is of normal size for her age, height, and activity level, according to insurance industry actuaries. I don't know what's wrong. Look, listener, I know I ask a lot of you, just getting you to listen. That's often very difficult for you and for me. But if you could just, one thing for me, if you could just pray for LD, pray that he be healed. Whatever horrible thing was done to him as a child that warped him into this. He's obviously been warped into something. Some childhood trauma's done some warping, perverting him. Please pray that he be healed from this. And also that something temporarily happened to his tongue to cause great pain. Hello, caller.
Uncle Henry, how are you?
John, thank you so much for saving the show. John, you are live on the radio.
Yes, sir. About the results from yesterday with the black community being upset and turning out.
Yeah.
What was happening is people don't even understand what gerrymandering is. They're illegally drawing these lines to benefit one party or the other. So what happened in Alabama, there is no way you should have a district that includes Mobile and Montgomery.
Right.
That's gerrymandering.
Right, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and they cut out the inner cities, and everyone knows that's where the minorities are. And then they do a line, and it's totally illegal. And then for me, for somebody in upper part of Mobile County, I could have Barry Moore, who's a solid conservative, or that Figures guy, who's a socialist. So it was what they did, the Supreme Court was completely correct, and a lot of people don't even understand the mechanism that they're using. Like in Louisiana, they did 2 or 3 cities. They just clipped a piece of the inner city out and then connected them along an interstate. So if you look at Florida, who has an exceptional governor, DeSantis, they redid their maps. It's all rectangles, okay, or squares or rectangles. You know, it makes sense. It's not, you know, lines hooking around neighborhoods and doing this ridiculous stuff. So fortunately, that got rectified. But folks have to remember there's another primary August 11th, and everyone has to get out for that election because it's for District 1, 2, 6, and 7. So make sure your listeners know about that. And the second thing is people don't realize the seriousness with Big Creek Lake. They say there was an IED in there.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, how does that happen? And then they don't give any more details. I mean, that lake is so political, but there's 350,000 people that get water. It's not just Mobile County; it's Baldwin County. I mean, we would shut down if the lake got contaminated. You know, so that's what people need to take into consideration. And I think also a lot of these, when they filter the water out, one thing they don't filter is estrogen. So that's not good for the community either, because the people take the birth control pills and urinate it out, and it gets into the water supply if it's not filtered properly. But I just wanted to touch on those two things. I'm happy Tommy got elected. He's going to be the next governor, and he's going to do an exceptional job.
All right. Well, hey, John, thank you so much for your phone call. I appreciate that very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good one.
I will. Thanks to your call. And you've given me something new. I've got to find out about people tinkling estrogen into the drinking supply. I did not realize. I've not heard this. I didn't realize this. And I'm a big, you know, I wished I'd heard about this earlier, because I'm a big tap water person. Yes, I am. I'm a tap water person. I know nowadays people think you're supposed to drink your water out of some type of plastic bottle, that is the only safe water on the planet is coming out of a plastic bottle. And whatever is coming out of your tap, you can only use that to wash the filth off your body or something, or wash your dishes or your clothes or something. You're not allowed to drink it. I've been a big proponent of the tap water, and now I've just been, and I trust this caller, telling me that people are tinkling estrogen into the water, and they're not doing they don't have the right filter out there. I wonder if we can. I wonder, do they have? Where can you get the filter? Can I buy a filter for my house that will prevent any of the stuff tinkling into the water? John, thank you. You've given me a new avenue to explore. Because I'm of that age where you're trying to, you try to be as healthy as you can in your last days. You know what I'm talking about. You ignored your health for many years, and now that you've got just a few days left, you say, well, maybe I can get an extra few hours if I don't drink this tap water. You know, that kind of stuff. So, John, thank you. I'm going to be doing research into that. All right, there's more to get into. But first, on the Uncle Henry Show, we do have a break coming up, traffic, weather, words from the sponsors, and then more of the Uncle Henry Show. I want to remind you, if you want to listen to previous episodes of this program, they are available as a podcast. Just go to the iHeartRadio app, look up Uncle Henry Show, and you will find the Uncle Henry Show there. You can also go to our website, newsradio710.com, and find the podcast there.
Watch for a crash in the turn lane on Muskogee Road at Pace Parkway in Cantonment. Also, we still have a crash on St. Stephen's Road at Sand Ridge Road. Slow on the Foley Beach Express from Highway 59 to Canal Road. It's a 21-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Paquet.
This report.
Yeah, let me check and see if I've still got YouTube viewers. If I do, then I will speak to you. And if there aren't viewers, then I will stand silently and brood about the next segment. The next segment, I don't have enough time to fully talk about the spanking that I was going to talk about before LD called in. Yeah, there's a tiny number of people watching. Let's see. Chuck, now thank the Lord Chuck is still checking in from time to time. Thank you, Chuck, for and also the Alex Jones reference. I've been too busy to keep up with him probably since last year. So I don't know if there's any new. Now that we're having UFO disclosure, maybe I need to find out what Alex Jones is talking about. Maybe he will be the first person to have an alien on. All right, let me see. What can I tell you while in the commercial break? I was looking at the weird news file, and this isn't all that weird, but a town, let's see, there's a county in Central Florida that has been invaded by wild hogs. Wild hogs running through neighborhoods. And they're fighting with, there's a lot of construction projects, and they claim they're tearing up the natural habitat of the hogs. And now they've driven the hogs into residential neighborhoods. This reminds me, I would get calls years ago, probably about 15 years ago. A guy in Mobile County, I think it was a caller named Kermit. He talked about how there was some big construction project and they bought a bunch of land next to his house and they started clearing that land. And he called several times saying that for months, his family found snakes all over the yard. It was constant. poisonous snakes. That because, and it was some project that it wasn't a residential project. Somebody putting in something industrial, and they just cleared some land. And this guy, he was living a nightmare. But apparently resolved that within a few months. I guess the snakes moved on, or they killed a bunch of them. But in Central Florida, wild hogs. Let's see, a British court has sentenced a trucker to prison for trying to smuggle drugs in Kim Kardashian's underwear. Authorities discovered $9 million worth of cocaine stashed in a shipment of Kardashian's Skims underwear. There were 28 pallets of clothing. And when they went through the clothing, they found all of the cocaine. The Kardashians always amount to trouble. They do.
Podcasting. This is News Radio 710 WNTN, an iHeart radio station.
The Uncle Henry Show, news headlines coming your way in 10 minutes. Got a story about the election I want to share with you. The primary vote yesterday. This is from Lagniappe, Mobile's newspaper, lagniappemobile.com. The headline on the story is Thomas wins first election in 20 years. Now, this is written by Kyle Hamrick, and it's about the former judge Herman Thomas. You remember the one that was accused of spanking the inmates and went on trial? Here is what was written by Kyle Hamrick. He wrote, after trying for decades to re-enter public office following his trial for allegedly abusing his power as a Mobile County judge, Herman Thomas earned enough votes to join leadership of the state Democratic Party. Thomas was elected Tuesday night to a 4-year term on the Alabama Democratic Executive Committee. So the state Democratic Party, one of their elected leaders now is Herman Thomas, who was indicted on criminal charges related to abuse of power. It was alleged that he had blanqueal relations with prisoners, specifically that he paddled them in his chambers and transferred particular inmates' cases from other dockets to his own. Now, before I run out of time, I just want to go back in the time machine here and share with you. This is a story from WKRG TV5 from back in 2009 when he was indicted. I think you get to hear him get arrested in the story. Another reason to listen to this story that I'm going to share with you is that Cowboy Bob Clark just passed away. The attorney, Cowboy Bob Clark, just passed away at age 83. Lagniappe did a big cover story on the life and career of Cowboy Bob Clark. You'll hear Cowboy Bob Clark in this story defending Herman Thomas. Here is one of the newly elected leaders of the state Democrat Party, Herman Thomas, on the day he was indicted back in 2009.
Hours after a grand jury indicted Herman Thomas on 57 felony counts, the former judge stood beside his attorney, calling the DA's investigation racist.
It's like Clarence Thomas said, it's a high-tech lynch, and this is racism at its very finest.
That's your Cowboy Bob Clark.
We ought to be proud to be citizens of Mobile County and proud that we elected these.
Thomas's attorney called a 2 o'clock press conference to discuss the indictments, which he claimed he had still not been notified about. But the press conference was cut short as 3 investigators walked up and arrested the former judge.
Okay. I'll talk to you later. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Oh, I guess it was a rumor.
Thomas was escorted just a few feet to the booking room at Mobile's Metro Jail, the same jail housing inmates he's accused of forcing to perform sexual acts.
You going to arrest me or you're not
Here's Cowboy Bob Clark.
taking me anywhere? You understand that?
Well, you get ready
say
to be
you're,
arrested.
well, just say
I'm
you're,
under
no, don't say
arrest.
not arrest. Say you're under arrest.
You're under arrest.
Thank you.
Just minutes later, at a press conference called by the district attorney, Thomas's attorney, Bob Clark, was also arrested for not obeying an officer's order to leave. But Clark was allowed to return just in time to hear the announcement about his client's indictment.
We have 8 victims, and for each victim, there is an array
DA John Tyson Jr.
of charges.
District Attorney John Tyson calls the charges against Thomas very serious and says the investigation is not over yet.
Okay. Little flashback to 2009. Now, the jury in the case could not reach a verdict, but as Lamiak, Kyle Hamrick in his story today points out that even though they couldn't reach a verdict, Herman Thomas was disbarred in Alabama and Florida, so not allowed to practice law in Alabama or Florida, but still good enough to get votes. There's still some Democrats out there that will vote for him after all that wild stuff. It was quite a trial. I mean, I think Vivian Davis Figures testified against him in the trial. It was something else. And Cowboy Bob Clark, the attorney, read about him in the Lamiak cover story. Quite a colorful character. You heard him there getting arrested. Here is another clip from him.
The grand jury does what the district attorney's office. You take a ham sandwich over there and you can get it indicted. That's not the issue. The issue is, now can they prove it?
Here he is getting arrested.
You're going to arrest me or you're not taking me anywhere. You understand that?
Well, you get ready
say
to be
you're,
arrested.
well, just say
I'm
you're,
under
no, don't
arrest.
say not arrest. Say you're under arrest.
You're under arrest.
Thank you.
You know, if you get charged with a crime, I would guess that you would want an attorney like that. I'm glad I've only got a guess. But anyway, one of the leaders of the Democrat Party for the next 4 years on their executive committee, the spanking judge. But in Alabama, you've got to it's hard to find a Democrat that, I guess.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. The story never ends. Republicans are using a special
YouTube viewers, thank you for looking. There is more show coming up, but on AM radio. I'm turning off the camera. Thank you for watching the Uncle Henry Show. I'll be back tomorrow at the regular time. Have a pleasant evening and a pleasant tomorrow.
Taxpayers build Trump a palace while they're at it, said Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. The decision by GOP leaders to shove $1 billion into the bill opens the floor for other Republicans to stuff additional priorities into this budget reconciliation measure. That could include the Save America Act, money for the war in Iran. Some pro-life Republicans are pushing an extension of a ban on money for Planned Parenthood. The prohibition expires later this year. President Trump says it's been a very thorny issue, and it's all under negotiation right now. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Glenn Beck. This is something I don't want to talk about. You don't even know what I'm talking about when I say I don't want to talk about something that I'm going to talk about.
Glenn Beck, weekday mornings at 8 on WNTM.
Hey, Uncle Henry here, and I've got 2 people with me who know how to help you make sense of your money. John McNeil